You can't fix the avoidant. You can't manage the avoidant. You can't make this person work on themselves, and you certainly can't do it by loving them harder. The more love you give them, the more empathy you give them, the more you are giving them exactly what triggers them. Your love and your empathy are the triggers, because your love and your empathy promote emotional intimacy and promote vulnerability. By being emotionally available to them, by being vulnerable with them, by showing them empathy, you are naturally being vulnerable with them, which gives them a pressure to be vulnerable and intimate in return with you. And that is the core trigger. If you're dealing with an avoidant, especially a dismissive avoidant or a fearful avoidant that leans heavily dismissive, vulnerability is the trigger. Emotional intimacy is the trigger. Communicating emotions is the trigger. So when you're pouring your heart out, trying to prove to this person that you love them enough and that you're not going to hurt them and you're not going anywhere, that you're going to be there for them, that you're never going to reject them, you're giving them more of the trigger. This is a person that is specifically triggered by healthy relationship behaviors, like communicating feelings, like being close and being vulnerable. You have to understand, this is a person that was on the receiving end of consistent childhood emotional neglect. They grew up in a household where you don't talk about feelings and their emotional needs were not met. And when they tried to express themselves, it was rejected, dismissed, reprimanded even. And they learned that being vulnerable isn't safe. It leads to rejection. They developed a wound of shame because they personalized that neglect. So they don't have the capacity to do healthy relationships, not without the deep inner work, meaning therapy and a commitment to a consistent, repetitive change in behavior. They have to want it. You loving them harder is not going to make them want it. You loving them harder is just going to trigger them more and more and push you into a ball of anxiety, because you can't fix anybody. You can't make anybody fix themselves. And you are not responsible for their behavior. They are. But by trying to love them harder and win them over, you are subconsciously taking responsibility for their behaviors and taking responsibility for fixing them, which will only make you more anxiously attached, because you are trying to earn their love and trying to prove to them that you're worth the work, which is a very anxious thing to tell yourself. What you can do is hold your boundaries. Boundaries are your limits of what you want, what you don't want, what you need, don't need, what you'll tolerate and what you won't tolerate, and your expectations. If they're doing behavior that doesn't work for you, of course, you can have empathy for them, and that's a good thing. But that doesn't mean you're obligated to be on the receiving end of their behaviors that are based on their insecurities. You can say, this doesn't work for me, this dynamic, this behavior, and hold the line. And yes, that could even lead up to walking away from the relationship, because you're not obligated to be in a relationship with them if they are not showing up for you. You can't fix them, and you certainly can't do it by loving them harder. But what you can do is make sure you're taking care of yourself, because you are the only person that you can control. Now, if they're doing the work and they're trying to show up and make changes, different story. But if they're not, then you have to ask yourself, does this relationship actually work for you? Because you can't fix them. And being in the mindset that loving them harder is going to fix them is only going to hurt you more, and you're going to waste more of your life trying to earn the love from a person that doesn't want to give it and doesn't want to receive it.